All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to talk about spouse benefits and how much you can receive as a spouse, either a current spouse or a divorced spouse. Doesn't matter. As long as you were married to that person for 10 years or longer. And then once we talk about that, how to do the calculations and do your preparation for retirement planning, then I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to any questions you have on all things Social Security, disability, retirement, Medicare, Medicaid, survivor benefits, all the rest of it. So make sure you type your questions in chat. And the first part about spouse calculation should take about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll get into the questions and answers for about an hour or so. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you don't have any questions today and you just want to find out how to calculate spouse benefits and just stick around for that, awesome. But eventually what happens is someone, you, your family, friends will have a Social Security question, Medicare question, and you won't be able to find us again. So please subscribe, and that way you can find us in the future. Or if you get some kind of weird letter from Social Security, I know I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country, and I know Social Security sends out some weird letters, and most times they're not in English. So if you get something like that, you come back to us, and we can see if we can help you out and translate it into English. So make sure you subscribe so you can find us again. And I also keep you up to date on all things Social Security, Medicare. Make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to. All right, enough of all that. So again, today's topic, and then we're going to go into the questions. All right, so spouse's benefits. So you can get up to 50%. You probably heard that a million times. So the old system that they used to use, that you used to be able to do, was called file and suspend, where you file the benefits and then suspend it so your spouse can get benefits. You can't do that anymore. If you want to get spouse benefits and your spouse is still living, you have to file on your own record first. So you file on your own record, and then if your spouse's benefit amount is more than twice your full benefit amount, which is called your PIA, your primary insurance amount, if it's over twice what yours is, then there's some money in there for you to collect. I get comments all the time about people said, yeah, I went down to Social Security and they denied my application for spouse benefits. And they didn't, most of the time when people say that, well, not all, most of the time, but a lot of times when people say that, they didn't deny it. There's just no more money left. Because I always ask, okay, were you married to the person for 10 years? Yes, I was married for 10 years. Is your benefit amount less than half of his? No, it's not. Well, there you go. You weren't denied. There's just no more money there. So that's why they didn't turn more money on for you. All right. So, and then I put together a little slide here that hopefully, sorry on TikTok, I guess I need 10,000 subscribers to do everything correctly on TikTok and show you all my slides and stuff like that. So if you could subscribe on TikTok, I appreciate it. And please, everybody press like. So this goes out to more people. A lot of people need help. Okay, so this is for benefits for a living spouse. Divorce is different, or excuse me, survivor benefits are different. If you're going to receive survivor benefits, you can receive up to 100% of that person's benefit amount, not what it would have been at the full retirement age, but what they were actually receiving, including delayed retirement credits, which are the credits you get after you hit your full retirement age if you delay your retirement. I just did a video on delayed retirement credits and a way to increase your benefits a couple of days ago. So check that out. All right, so we got a husband and wife. I know a little sexist here, but this is predominantly, I've taken several 100,000 retirement and spouse claims, and this is 99.99% how it goes, is the husband has the higher earnings throughout their life. And in this particular case, just to make it easy, I put down the husband's PIA, again, the primary insurance amount, as $2,000. Okay. All right. So you have a husband, higher wage earner, primary insurance amount is $2,000. The wife, to make this easy, the wife's primary insurance amount is $800. So the husband is over twice the wife, not what the wife is getting. So a lot of people say, well, I'm getting, $800, but my husband is, receiving, 2,200 or something. But they won't give me any more money. That's maybe because you filed early. So this is not based on how much you're receiving because you filed early or late or anything like that. This is the amount you would have received, he and her, both spouses, the amount they would have received at their full retirement age. So this is the key, the primary insurance amount, the amount they would receive at their full retirement age. All right, so this one is made this easy as possible. There's $200 left over there. So half of the husband's is $1,000. So she can receive up to half of that amount. So $1,000. So she has to file on her own first. So she gets her $800 and she's entitled to $1,000, but she has to subtract her $800 that she gets from her own. So she's got $200 left over there. So from 1,000 minus 800 is $200. So the wife will receive her $800. Again, this is both people are, whether the spouse is her full retirement age. Doesn't really matter how old the husband is, as long as he's collecting benefits. Doesn't matter how old he is, because again, it's based on his full retirement age benefit. But she has to be full retirement age in order to collect 50%. So she's going to collect $800 from her own work record, and then she will collect another $200 from her husband's work record for a total of $1,000. Okay? So the household benefits, make it easy. Husband, $2,000. She's going to receive $1,000. So you got $1,000 coming into the house. Right? So let's say, what if the wife's PIA is $1,100? Then there you go. She's technically entitled to spouse benefits, but there's no money there, so she won't receive it. So her benefits has to be less than half of his. All right. So, and again, spouse benefits, if she, let's say she has her PIA is $1,100. So while the spouse is alive, she gets nothing. If the spouse dies, then that switches. It's not up to 50%, it's up to 100%. So the wife, the surviving spouse, will receive whatever the benefit amount the husband was receiving. So if the husband was receiving $2,000, when he dies, the wife will now receive $2,000 total, not $800 plus $2,000 or anything like that. $2,000 total. All right, let's make it a tad more complicated, and you can go back a few times and watch this, and hopefully I explained it easily. But if not, that's why we do the question and answers. And I've got another trick to show you how to do this as well. All right, so let's say the wife is going to file early. This is where it gets complicated. So the wife's PIA is $800, but she decides she wants to file early. So there's a couple of websites you can go on to at Social Security, and I'll put those in the description of the video. So the wife is going to retire 37 months early. So you just put this in the calculator on the SSA website, which I'll put in the link. And so she's not going to get the $800 because she's retiring early. So because she's retiring 37 months early, she's only going to get 79.58% of her full benefit amount, which is $636. And then because she's retiring early, she's not going to get up to 50% of her husband's. She will receive 37.29% of the spouse's full benefit amount, which is $745. Okay? So she's going to get $636 from her own record, and then she's going to get $109 from her husband. So again, what she gets from her husband is a $745 minus her own. So that tells you how much she's going to get from her husband. So it's $109. All right. So I know this is complicated. Most people don't want to do this, but a lot of people say, could you explain how to do spouse benefits? And usually, again, I've done this hundreds of thousands of times when I worked at Social Security Administration, and people say, how do how do you do those calculations? And I would go into a calculation like this, and you know, uh, people, oh, okay, and they, their eyes kind of glass over, because it's difficult to do. It's easy to do once you're doing the the full benefit amount, and the person is your full retirement age and all that kind of good stuff. But once you get into the early retirement, it's difficult. And here's the trick. There's a lot of people out there, disability lawyers and financial planners and all that kind of stuff, that's going to want to charge you to do the calculations and stuff. Don't do it. It's a waste of money. So go on to Social Security. One of the reasons it's a waste of money, because I was on the receiving end. People used to walk into the office all the time, and they'd throw down the sheet with all the calculations they paid $400 or $500 for. Okay, here's how much I'm going to get. I'm like, okay, I've seen this one before. I've seen this company before. And then I do, the computer system comes out with the calculations, and they're never the same, because whatever the case may be, they don't have all your earnings, and they don't do the PI calculations or the bin points and AMI and all this other kind of stuff. They do it incorrect. So don't waste your money on that. It's a waste. It's a waste of time and money to do, and ask somebody to do the calculations for you manually. You can do it yourself there, or you can go on to the SSA.gov website and set up an account and ask your spouse if you're able to. If it's a divorced spouse or something like that, you can get the once you set up an appointment to file for spouse benefits, and you provide the proper documentation that you're actually married to that person, they will give you that person's primary insurance amount. So you take that person's primary insurance amount, how much it is, $2,333. Okay. And then you go into your My SSA account, and number one, please check your earnings. We just finished tax season. You file your taxes, they send it to the IRS. The IRS sends it to Social Security. Sometimes along the way it gets lost. Some people, transpose the numbers, it should be your Social Security number should be 21, and they input it 12 or whatever. And then you lose that money, because your benefit amount is based on the high 35 years of earnings. And if those earnings are correct, your benefit for the rest of your life is incorrect. So make sure you check every year. All right, so you go into the My Social Security account, and you just plug it in there. You find out how much your benefit amount is, and it has a section in there on finding out spouse benefits. And all you need is that one number, because it doesn't matter how old that person was, because you're looking at the full benefit amount. You plug in that full number, what I say, $2,333. You plug that amount in, and it'll tell you exactly, you're retiring 37 months early, or 41 months, or I don't know if you go 41 months early, but anyway, 21 months early, whatever the case may be. It'll tell you how much your benefit amount is and how much his benefit amount is that you will get from him. But these are all estimates. It's based on your earnings and projections. If you're doing this a year or two early, it's based on that you will continue working, and so they're estimates. But it's good for retirement planning, and they're a lot more accurate than some company that's going to charge you $400 or $500 for something like that. So just do it yourself. Do the calculations if you're mathematically inclined, and that is how you get those benefits. Oh, we got a lot of questions there. All right, let's see here. All right, so that's how you do the spouse benefits. If you have any other questions on that, make sure you put it in the chat there, and let's go ahead and open the table to all kinds of questions. Let's see what we got here. Oh, let me put this up here. All right, chat. All right, I'm turning 62. Mary, hey Mary, I'm turning 62 in November, and was wondering how long before then I should apply for my benefits. Yeah, usually 2 or 3 months is plenty of time. Oh, please, everybody, please press like. When you press like, this video goes out to more people, and there just might be someone that's losing benefits, because I tell you, there's a lot of people that, oh, I didn't know I could get spouse benefits. And people need these benefits out there, and by you pressing like, you're essentially getting people benefits that they need. So please press like and share and subscribe and put it on your Facebook and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, if number one, Mary, is go into mysocialsecurity.gov, make sure all your earnings records are correct. What you're really looking for is for like a 0 year. Like if you worked in 1982 and you know you worked in 1982 and it says 0 earnings for that year, then you know something's wrong. And then you just, if you work for like the same company the prior year and the same company the next year, is really, really easy to fix that. I fixed millions of these records. And basically, again, somebody just typed your social security number in wrong somewhere. And so those earnings for 1982 are in what's called a suspense file. So they are just sitting out there in limbo waiting for someone to say, hey, those are mine. So you go into Social Security and say, hey, 1982 I worked and it was the same company. So the Social Security employee will look at the EIN, the employer identification number for that company, and then look at that particular year and see if there's any money in the suspense file. And it says, oh yeah, here it is. It's, here, yeah, Mary Meese. Yep, Mary Meese. Yep, here it is right there. Oh, they just typed the Social Security number in wrong. And they just plop it in there and there you go. And you're going to get the correct amount for the rest of your life. And it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, number one is to check that. But if all that is correct, and you probably don't even need a birth certificate if you were born in the United States and everything is correct, your date of birth and everything is correct, then yeah, you can file online a couple of 3 months before, or call the 800 number and schedule an in-office or a over-the-phone appointment. And yeah, I've done hundreds of thousands of retirement claims when I worked at Social Security, and they take 20 minutes if everything is good, your earnings record are correct, your date of birth is correct, and everything. It takes 20 minutes, and by the time you walk out of the building, your case is adjudicated. It takes 3.5 minutes to adjudicate it once it's put into the claims. So super easy. And you can't start benefits. You have to be 62 the entire month. So if you were born, I think you said in November. So if you were born November 15th, you can't start your benefits until December, because you have to be 62 the entire month. So you start your benefits in December, and then your December check won't come until January. Social Security always pays essentially a month late. That way, they can catch it on the tail end, when everybody departs. So you have to be alive the entire month. So if you pass away on the last day of the month, then you're not entitled to that month's check, which comes the following month. So, all right, let's see. Desiree, if I'm approved for SSDI, will my back pay start the date I became sick in May 23, or will it go back to when I first applied? The dates, you might have them backwards here, because if you applied in 2021 and you didn't become disabled until 23, they would have denied your application immediately because you weren't disabled. So yeah, it really depends on the situation, whatever the disability determination service, the service that Social Security, the state service that makes your medical determination, they will determine, it's called the EOD, the established onset date. So there's a few dates. There's the alleged onset date is when you allege you became disabled, and there's got the POD, the potential onset date based on technical factors, insurance and currently insured and all. And then the established onset date, when they actually say, okay, yep, we established that you became disabled on this month, this year. Yeah, and if they owe you any back pay, then yeah, they will pay you whatever. If they say you became disabled in November 21, then that is your day. And there's 5 months. There's a 5-month waiting period. Everybody has to wait 5 months, so you don't get any money for the first 5 months. But after that, yes, if it's back in time, they will actually do it. Here's a little follow-up here for her. My initial application was stopped because I decided to accept job offers. See, I know exactly. Yeah, you can tell I've done this a few 100,000 times. So, yep, yeah. So whatever they determine your established onset date is the date they will start you. Don, what's up, Don? Ex-spouse, married over 10 years. Okay, good. is collecting SSI due to a military injury claim for years. About 5K a month. About 5K a month. That's not from Social Security. Yeah, so that might be a VA disability. So yeah, nobody got 5K a month from Social Security. Will his retirement benefit be based on that SSDI or his income from previous year? It's based on many years. Again, it depends on how old he is. But yeah, all benefits are basically, depending on your age. If you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, your benefit is based on your high 35 years of earnings. So the number one thing, yeah. So if you're 62 years old, you have to file for benefits on your own record and then file for benefits on his record. Again, if his benefit amount is twice yours. But that 5K is definitely not a Social Security number. Michael, if a person is receiving SSDI for a visual disability but is not legally blind, do they fall under the SGA for a blind person? Yeah, legally blind, different entities have different definitions of legally blind. So yeah, I would check that out. Yeah, because that's very important. So I would contact Social Security and find out exactly what your SGA is, your substantial gainful activity, and how much you can earn. Sounds like you might be kicking around the idea of going back and seeing if you can work a trial work period or something like that. So yes, that's so it's important to call up Social Security and find out how much, what basis your disability is on. Is it because you're blind, or is it because of other issues? So, and then if you're looking about going back to work, because the regulations, I'm sure are extremely difficult, and there's a 9-month trial work period that you can make $1 million a month. It doesn't matter, and then after that you get switched to the extended period of eligibility for 36 months, and everything you go over a certain period number, you don't get it for that month, and you get it for the next month, and it's all very complicated. So Social Security is contracted with a company. It's a Ticket to Work. So you can reach out to Ticket to Work, and they can kind of help you navigate the nightmare. All right, let's see. I have a dependent, 100% disabled child who receives benefits under my account. Also an ex-spouse. We're married 16 years. Can they both collect? I don't collect because I have a federal pension. Yeah, so you're receiving under your account. So you had to have filed, but you're probably just not receiving it because your pension was a full offset or something like that. But you also have an ex-spouse. We're married. Can they both collect? Yeah, your ex-spouse can collect, yes, off of your record, and your disabled child can collect off your record. And yeah, they're not mutually exclusive, or one is taken from the other. So if an ex-spouse decides to go ahead and start collecting benefits on your record because it's over twice and all that kind of good stuff, then yeah, it won't affect the benefits for your child. The family max only comes into play in basically the same household there. Hey, Cynthia, if a woman is divorced, will she get 100% of her ex-spouse at PIA, of her ex-spouse's PIA? Yeah, if the spouse passes away, and you're full retirement age, absolutely, you can get 100%, not necessarily the PIA, what that person was receiving. So if that person filed early, your benefit would be reduced. So it's not based on the PIA, it's based on what that person was receiving, which is good, because if that person your ex-spouse waited until they're 70 years old, their benefits would have increased by 24%. So over their PIA amount. So if their PIA was 1,000 and they waited till they're 70, then they would get 1,240. And then if you filed and started receiving survivor benefits at your full retirement age, then you would get that 1,240, not the PIA amount. So Sharon, pictures work. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, excuse my bad graphic design, but I think they're not too bad. Try not to put too much stuff into them. Good, glad to hear that. Thank you for the feedback. Is the 37% off a table? Yes, yeah. There's a table on there, but the easiest way to do it is you can go on to the after I finish the live today, I'll put it in the description. You just go in there and you just put your date of birth, and then you put in there when you want to start your benefits. October 2024, and it'll tell you exactly the percentage, how much reduced. Very, very easy. Very, very easy. All right. Tanya, what if the ex-husband continues to work to earn to and add dollars in his full retirement age and you filed early? Does your amount go up? Tanya, yes, absolutely. That happens with everybody. So if anybody is receiving retirement benefits or spouse benefits, or and the person that work record is based off of, obviously survivor benefits because the person has passed, so they can't increase the benefit amount. But yeah, spouse, if your ex-spouse continues to work, pays into Social Security, and those are high 35 years of earnings, then Social Security automatically recalculates and increases the benefit if that's the high one. It usually takes so you can potentially get 2 increases every year. You get the COLA increase, and then you can get an increase based on that person or you continuing to work. And Social Security, that one takes a little bit longer. COLA is January. The other one, you have to notify the IRS and file your taxes, and then the IRS notifies Social Security, and then Social Security does the calculations. So if the calculations for your record aren't done until like April or May, then there's a $20 increase. They'll give you that increase all the way back to January. So they'll give you one check. The first check they give you will be 2020, 2020, whatever, and then give you the extra 20 going forward. Yep. Let's see here. Glinda, can I have a Social Security redo my Social Security because I don't think it's right? Yeah, absolutely. You file an SSA 561, and that's a request for reconsideration. So you're just basically asking Social Security to reconsider your benefit amount, and they take forever. So there's that. So you submit a 561, goes to your local office. They don't do it at your local office. They'll have to send it to the regional processing centers, and they will send you a detailed accounting of your benefit amount. And don't expect it to show up in a week or two. They take forever. Madries, one day at a time. All right, what if I was a teacher? Will it affect me to claim spousal benefits divorce? Yeah, TRS, Texas Retirement System, I think it is, or Teachers Retirement System. Okay, but yeah, so that sounds like it is a non-covered pension. So there's for everybody else out there, there are some state, local, city, county government entities that decided years ago they didn't want to play with Social Security, so they don't pay into Social Security. The federal government employees used to be that as well, but that changed many, many years ago. In my office, we had 100 employees, and I think out of those 100, we still had one. I think she's since retired, but everybody else is part of the new system, and everybody pays Social Security. Politicians pay Social Security and all that kind of stuff, up to 186,000. Yes, if you're getting one of those non-covered pensions, it will absolutely affect your spouse benefit. So whatever you're receiving from your non-covered pension when that starts, 2/3 of that will offset what you're potentially get from your spouse. So if you're going to get $1,000 from your teacher's system non-covered pension, then $666 will offset what you're going to receive from your spouse. So if you were entitled to $600 from your spouse, then it's offset $600. So you're going to get essentially zero. And people ask, why is that? Why is that offset? Because it's offset for everybody else. As I showed in the slide, the spouse who was receiving $800, that's taken away from what she can receive on her spouse. No, she'll only receive $200. So there's an offset for everybody else in the country. So there's also an offset for people that don't pay into Social Security. Tanya, looks like a follow-up question. What if you have a 0 year on history and didn't have an employer, was self-employed, and know you filed taxes that year, but 20 years ago, don't have the returns to prove it? Yeah, when you're self-employed, yeah, everybody, people hate taxes, and you might not have had net income to pay FICA, or you didn't file your taxes, or your accountant messed up. What often happens if there's like a husband and wife that has a business together, accountants and everybody mess this up all the time. And it's so sad that you have a husband and wife and they have a business together and they both file joint taxes and all that kind of stuff. And the company's income, in terms of taxes, they both pay it and everything like that, but the accountant messes up and they don't put both Social Security numbers on all sheets of paper, all the documents, and all of the Social Security goes to just one person. Usually it's the husband. And then that's fine if you stay married, but quite often, unfortunately, they get divorced, and then 20 years later they come and, oh yeah, you didn't work that. Yeah, we both work, but yeah, they didn't allocate those earnings correctly. So yeah, it's tough to do the self-employment thing. So you can reach out to IRS. You can do what is the IRS.gov, and it's called kind of a transcript. You can request one of those, and it might show what you paid that year. And then if you've got some type of proof that you can get from the IRS, then you just take that proof down to the Social Security Administration, and they will see about adding those earnings. Joe, my wife collects SSDI. She got retro pay back to 2015. However, the check never came. Lots of stories. What happened? Still no check. I want to apply. However, I think I will get the runaround too. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound like something happened here. She never got the retro check. If she used an attorney, then the attorney, they get 25% of back pay, up to this year it's $7,200. But if you want to apply, go for it. Absolutely. Don't let bad experience in the past prevent you from getting the benefits you're entitled to. So yes, but now you got me. So if they give you a runaround, then you jump back here, come back to the channel, and say, hey, Ed, I got a runaround, and this is what they said. Yes, this, that, and the other. And I'll walk you through the process to get it fixed. So I wasn't here in 2015, but I'm here now. All right. Good time. Thank you. Much appreciated. You're welcome. Welcome. Please, everybody, press like, so this goes out to more people that need it. And in the 35 years of earnings, do the years you didn't work count as zero, or are they not in the computation? Yeah, if you had 35 years, but you only worked 30, then yes, those 5 years are in the computation, and then, it brings everything down. So a lot of people, what they do is say, well, I've got some zeros in there, so I'll go ahead and, do some work and remove those zeros and put some actual money there. So, all right, I got some questions on TikTok here. I'm always ignoring TikTok because I can't do TikTok correctly. So please, everybody subscribe on TikTok here so I can do this correctly. I'm disabled in 62. How does that work? My husband passed away. Okay, if you're receiving disability, if you're not receiving disability, then I highly recommend you file for disability. You're 62 years old, you can file for disability and retirement benefits at the same time if you're not already receiving disability. So it's called a RIB-DIB. It's basically, you file for disability, but disability, to get an approval takes months and months and months. And people say, well, I need the money now. Well, you're 62. Go ahead and file for retirement benefits. Start your checks now. And then, 6 months, 9 months, however long it takes to get your disability, then they'll switch you to disability. But be aware that if you start your benefits early at 62, and however months you get your retirement benefits based on retirement, it's going to reduce your ultimate disability benefits. So make sure you, when you file, that you, make sure you run the numbers to make sure, it's acceptable. But if you need the money, you need the money. So there it is. But yeah, if you're on disability and you're turning 62, nothing, unless you're on SSI disability. If you're on SSI disability, just SSI disability, and you turn 62, then Social Security is going to demand that you file for your retirement benefits. So there's that. All right, let's see. I have been drawing Social Security since age 62 and am now 70. Can I change to spouse? You can't change, but you can certainly add if your spouse is, current spouse is receiving benefits, then you can file for spouse benefits. If ex-spouse, as long as they're 62, you can file for benefits. So I would definitely find out how much that person is receiving. And if it's twice your full benefit amount, not necessarily what you're receiving right now, but your full benefit amount, then yes, please call, schedule an appointment, and get that money. Can you do anything if you know your ex lied about income to Social Security? Yeah, that's they didn't lie to income about Social Security. I think you're talking about benefit amount. They lied to the IRS. So there's that, because it has to go through the IRS. You file your taxes, wages, or self-employment or whatever, and you file the IRS, and the IRS taxes you and whatever. And then IRS notifies Social Security. So yeah, so that's an IRS. I just applied for OPER's disability due to an amputation and mobility problems. Can I apply for SSD too? Yeah, maybe you think OPM or whatever disability system, short-term disability, whatever the case may be. Yeah, that doesn't, if you file for VA benefits and getting VA disability, yeah, you can file for Social Security disability too. Absolutely. And I just did a video, three or four videos within the last month on all things disability, how to file, some tips, tricks, and secrets to get your case approved and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you watch those 4 videos. And please, please, please file immediately, if not sooner. Try to file before the end of the month, because that, if you file this month and you're approved, you get benefits for, your benefits time frame starts this month. If you wait till next month or the month after, then you might lose a month or 2 of benefits. If my husband passes, do I get his full benefit? I drew at 62. Yeah, it doesn't matter when you started receiving benefits on your own record. It depends on when you start benefits on his record as a survivor. So, yeah, if you are your full retirement age when he passes away, you start your benefit at your full retirement age, you will get whatever he was receiving. So, yes, his full benefit amount. Let's see. Thank you for helping everyone. You're welcome. I'm retired from the military and also received some VA disability. Will I also be able to collect Social Security? Yes, absolutely. Retirement benefits at 62. Disability, if the VA categorizes disability different. In my office, I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, so we had a lot of veterans in my office, and a lot of them were, had receiving VA disability, 10%, 20%, 30%, 80%. So all those people for Social Security are not disabled because they're able to work. Social Security defines disability as the inability to work, and your disability has to last 12 months or longer. Here's a big mistake people make is people, you can read my comments that people give, and they say, yeah, I want to file for disability, but I haven't been disabled for 12 months yet. No, that doesn't matter. it's your disability has to last for 12 months going forward. So I've had this, people come in and I want to file for disability, and I said, okay, cool. All right, what's your disability? I'm pregnant. That's not going to last 12 months or longer. And even in Florida, I grew up in Florida. I can mess with Florida. So, all right, let's see here. Evelyn, I'm turning 62 this September. I'm going to apply for my Social Security benefits. Can I claim on my husband's Social Security benefits? He's receiving Social Security disability also. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, if the benefit amount, his is twice yours, then absolutely. Claire, both spouses are 80 and receiving Social Security benefits. So if a spouse dies, does the remaining spouse get any of his benefit? He made more, but not sure if it was twice as. Yeah, for survivor benefits, it doesn't need to be twice as much. For survivor benefits, if that person's benefit amount is, $1 more, than that surviving spouse will get the $1. So, so for living spouses, it's 50%. For surviving, it's up to 800%. So because they're both 80, she will receive whatever he was receiving, minus her own. So that's another thing, people. Please press like. There's a lot of people out here, a lot of elderly people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s that are planning on something that unfortunately is not going to happen. And we really need to get the information out there. So please press like. So there's a lot of people out there that are under the assumption that, let's say you've got a wife who receives $1,000 and the husband receives $2,000. So the husband, the wife, both of them are thinking that when the husband passes away, the wife will get that $2,000. Correct. However, she's not going to get $3,000 total. She's not going to continue to get her. Oh yeah, I'm getting $1,000, and when Patrick passes away, I'll get his $2,000. So there'll be a total of $3,000 coming into the household, like there is now. She's getting $1,000, he's getting $2,000, $300,000 coming into the household right now. When he passes, I'll get that check, and we can live on. I can live on $3,000. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. She will get $2,000 minus her own. So when Patrick passes, she will get $2,000 total. It's $1,000 from her and another $1,000 from him. So yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are going to be, because I've taken hundreds of thousands of survivor claims, and people come to the office and I tell them, okay, here's how much your benefit is, and they say, oh yeah, and plus my own, right? No, I'm sorry. I wish Social Security had done a better job of notifying people of that and explaining that. But that's what we're going to do, right? That's what I can just make these videos. I can sit here all day long and make these videos, but it doesn't help anybody unless it gets out there. How does it get out there? You share it on Facebook, you like, you subscribe, you call your local, if you know anybody famous, celebrities in your family, tell them to retweet or share. Call your local news channel and tell them, hey, Ed is willing to go on and do a segment on the survivor benefits or spouse benefits or whatever the case may be. It's a kind of a human interest story. Former Social Security district manager, helping people out in retirement, whatever. Publicity, we need it. People need to get this information. There's so many people not getting it. Okay, next question. Sharon, I am 61 years old with stage 3 triple negative breast cancer. Wow. And not drawing disability, but I'm struggling with health issues. Can I draw my late husband's survivor benefits? Yes, absolutely. You can start survivor benefits at 60 years old. But yeah, if you have cancer, I would definitely file for disability benefits too, because right now your Medicare won't start until 65. But if you are approved for disability, and Social Security has a great system, it's called they have an algorithm type of thing where the system pulls out certain disabilities out of the normal claims path and approves those really, really quickly. So if someone says, stage 3, stage 4 cancer and stuff like that, I've done this several times. Someone's coming in and they say they've got, this cancer or some other terrible condition, and I take the claim, I get all the medical, documents, the names and the doctors and all this kind of stuff. It takes about an hour to do the application, and then push the button, and then it goes up to the Disability Decision Service in your state. And then I've had this happen several times. The same day it came back approved, or the next day I walk back into the office and I'm like, oh, this one's already approved. So there are some disabilities that are approved immediately. It's an awesome system. So congratulations, Social Security, for bringing that in. They do a great job sometimes. But we're here to make sure they do a great job all the time. Yes. So if you're approved for disability, and then your Medicare will start after being on disability for 24 months. So you're on disability for 24 months, then your Medicare starts. So if you're 61, that means, your Medicare can conceivably start when you're 63, 2 years early. I personally think that if people are on disability and they're approved for disability, I think those people kind of need health care, so Medicare should start immediately. Once I become the enlightened dictator of the country, I will make that change. And I always say right after I come up with the cure for male pattern baldness. But anyway, that'll be my number 2 change. Yes, so please file for disability, and you can file for disability and survivor benefits at the same time. So for whatever reason you're not eligible for disability because you didn't work or didn't work recently or whatever the case might be, yes, you can file for survivor benefits. But in that case, unfortunately, your Medicare won't start until you're 65 years old. But you do have, the Affordable Care Act, Marketplace Insurance, Obamacare. It's all the same thing. Definitely check into that because you need some type of health care. Catherine, hello. If I get SSDI now and I want to change it to survivor benefits, would I get the same amount of pay, and would I still get Medicare? No, SSDI is based on your work record, how much you paid into Social Security. Survivor is based on how much your previous spouse paid into Social Security. So the benefit amount would be different. And Medicare, if it's straight survivor benefits, you have to wait till 65. Disability, as I just mentioned, you can, if you're 40 years old and receive disability, then you can get, your Medicare starts at 42 because you're on disability for 2 years. So, Tina, I'm 60 on disability. My ex is 61, still working. Married 20 years, divorced 10 years, neither remarried. Can I file for his Social Security? Yes, but you have to be 62, and then you would have to, so you have to be 62 to begin with. Only 60 is survivor benefits. It doesn't matter, and he has to be 62 as well, but he doesn't have to have filed. It's you said X, right? Yeah, X. Okay. So when you're 62 and he is 62, even if he hasn't filed, again, this is another thing. A lot of people out there are not getting the benefits they're entitled to because they're sitting around saying, well, I'm getting my own check, but my ex-spouse hasn't filed yet, so I have to wait till he files, and he said he's not going to file until he's 67, so I guess I'm out of that money until I'm 67. That is incorrect. There are tens of hundreds of thousands of people out there that are not getting the money they're entitled to because that's wrong. Again, flash the like so we can get to those people. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse. And as long as you're 62 and that person is 62, even if they haven't filed, then you can file for benefits on that person's record as a spouse, as long as, benefit amount is over twice years and all that kind of good stuff. And again, it's called independently entitled divorced spouse. can't say it. Acronyms. IEDS. I have to attempt disability path until reach for all. Yeah. Yeah. So file for disability, and then once you reach your full retirement age, then everybody is switched over to retirement benefits. So nobody is receiving disability once they reach their full retirement age. I get comments all the time. So, I'm 80 years old on disability. No, you're technically on retirement, but the check and everything that gives you an idea of, people just don't know, which is good. Yeah, their check amount doesn't change. They still get the check the same day and all that kind of good stuff. But it's good. They don't have to jump through all the disability, things again. I'm going to do a video on CDRs here in this week. And I'm also doing one on FICA. I'm trying to reach the young people out there. Yeah, so anything you can do to help, because they need to start preparing and find out what they need and all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's see. If my spouse of 33 years passed when I was 55 and I started receiving early survivor benefits at 60, I am turning 65 this year, so I want to know that if I remarry, will my benefits stop? Nope, you can remarry after 60 years old, and you are good. Yep, no change. But if you check to see if your benefit amount on your new spouse is more, then you can switch to your new spouse and stuff. But nope, no change. You can remarry after 60. And again, so if you worked for 33 of the 35 years, did the years where you were an at-home mom take the average amount down? Yeah, it doesn't matter where you were. If you got zero earnings for a particular year, you just do the math. Any 0 year brings your amount down. Tanya, I appreciate your time. That's exactly what happened with the 0 year husband and I applied together at the same time. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Joe, thanks for your response and thanks for your service. You're welcome. Thank you. Glad I was able to help. Joe, if a spouse files under her own work history, then later files for spousal, is the spousal benefit reduced because she filed early? No, it's only when she started taking her spouse benefits. So if she delays taking her spouse benefits, if she files for benefits on her own record at 62, then yeah, 30% reduction. But if she waits until her full retirement age to file for spouse benefits, then she gets she gets 50%. So yes, good question, Joe. Thank you. Good question. Good time. I'm on disability, have an 11-year-old. If I were to pass away, would he get my benefits? He should be getting your benefits now. Yeah, good time. If he's not receiving, he or she's not receiving benefits, then yeah, you need to call Social Security right now. Do not pass go. Call Social Security. If you are receiving retirement benefits or disability benefits and you have a child under the age of 18, then that child is eligible for benefits. So please immediately get benefits. And then if something happened to you, then those benefits would actually increase and they would automatically switch over. And the child will get benefits until they reach 18 years old. Or if they're still in high school, they'll essentially continue until they graduate high school or 19 or a couple of months. If they're disabled, then their disability began under the age of 22, then they can get benefits for the rest of their life on your record. Katina, another TRS teacher here. All right, if I take a lump sum check upon retirement and then reduce monthly benefit payments, will SSA still offset my widow benefits as if I didn't take the lump sum? Yes, yeah, a lot of people try that and it doesn't work. Social Security figured that out a long time ago. It's like, well, I just won't have monthly benefits. I'll just take a lump sum. And so they can't, do the government pension offset. Yeah. Now, what they do is if you go ahead and take the lump sum, they look at the actuarial table and they say, okay, a woman, I think you're female, Katina, lives, the life expectancy is this long. So that's how they will determine the monthly, how much you're going to receive a non-covered pension is that amount. And that might be more than what you would actually receive. So that based on your, okay, you received, $30,000 and $100,000 and actuarial table, we're gonna set it at $700. Because I was only receiving 500. Well, I was only going to receive 500, but I took the lump sum, and yeah, so it might actually work against you. So, Grampy Campy's Bear Creek Homestead. Okay, hey, what's up? If you get survivor benefits, can you work at all and not get chopped or no? Yeah, any type of benefits you receive, retirement, spouse, survivor, disability is the same but different numbers. Yeah, if you get survivor benefits, retirement benefits, and you're under your full retirement age, then you're limited to the amount of money you can make. This year. It's what, $22,320. Anything over that, they hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Let's see, Lola. One thing I didn't get, if my husband makes twice my Social Security and they give me, like, say, 200 added to mine, you don't think so it is not fair for him? Yeah, not sure. All right, let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. Let's see. If you were divorced after being married over 10 years and remarried after age 60, I know you can get survivor benefits on either spouse, but can you get spousal benefits? Usually, yeah, no, not spousal benefits, but there are, with all Social Security, there's exceptions. Depends on if that person is receiving benefits and what type of benefits they're receiving and all this kind of stuff. So I did a video. This one is very complicated. I did a video on the top 5. I think I'm trying to remember the title. The top 5 spouse myths. So look at that video, and there's 5 in there, and I think the third one, check it out. And I put the policy in there as well because it's very, very specific to each particular case. So you have to look at your particular case to see if it applies to you. So there's that. The top 5 spouse myths, I think is the title. All right, Susan, I'm 66, 6 months, worked 10 years, just applied for Social Security. My husband will wait till 70 and a half. Do I have to wait till he's 70 and a half before I can get a little more in spousal benefits? Yes. If you're currently married to him, then yeah, you have to wait for him to file for benefits in order for your benefits to start from him. So that's why I always, recommend if you're currently married and you're the lower earning spouse, and you're not working now, collect it early as you possibly can, 62. Because you get those benefits, get those checks. And then when the higher earning spouse goes on, the benefit amount, then yours is brought up to that amount. So, your reduction doesn't matter anymore because you're receiving the higher spouse benefits. But in your case, yeah, you just continue to receive yours. And then when he files, you file a spouse claim at the same time. So when he calls up and schedules an appointment, he takes his claim and then he hands the phone to you and you do your spouse claim. Donna, I was denied the $255 survivor benefits because we didn't live together. Will this cause problems? Would I want to draw on his? Nope. Yeah, that lovely 255 lump sum death payment. It's been that amount for decades and decades. It's embarrassing. I've issued hundreds of thousands of those, and no one's ever been happy. But that is based on that, it's meant to be kind of like burial insurance, obviously. And that's one of the reasons I put together a team throughout the country that can help you with actual burial insurance, more than $255, and Medicare supplements and Advantage. And, so if you need any help like that, make sure you call, and I can find someone in your neck of the woods to help you out. And full disclosure, they support our channel, our ability to do what we're doing here today. Yeah, that money is supposed to go to the burial. And if you're not living there together when he or she passed, then Social Security assumes that money didn't go to the burial. So yeah, but it won't affect survivor benefits at all. Zero. no effect whatsoever. It's a whole different set of requirements. So, yep, don't worry about that at all. If you're entitled to survivor benefit, you will get it. Doesn't matter about the $255. Susan, back again. Let's see here. My husband dies. Will I receive the benefit he received at 70 and a half, or will I only receive what he would have received if he took Social Security at his full retirement age? Okay, good question. Good question. So 70 and a half, please do not collect benefits at 70 and a half. Tell him do not collect benefits at 70 and a half, because those 6 months you're losing money. I guess if, that's going to put you in a higher tax bracket or whatever, but in terms of Social Security, benefits max out at 70. So your benefits are not going to go up because you wait another 6 months. So 70, 70, 70. Again, unless there's some type of other tax issue you're worried about. But no. For survivor benefits, you get those delayed retirement credits. So if he was going to get $3,000 at full retirement age, but he waited till 70, even if he hasn't filed, if he is waiting and he decides to, wait, whatever, and he passes away, the month he turns 70, then Social Security will give all the up to 70 delayed retirement credit, up to those years delayed retirement credits. And then you will get those delayed retirement credits as a survivor. You don't get those as a living spouse. So spouses, current spouses, spouse claims, not surviving spouse claims, but spouse claims, they do not get the delayed retirement credits. Only surviving spouses get the delayed retirement credits. So, all right. Emerson, collecting SSDI on my account and widow's benefits from a deceased spouse account. Can I get my SSDI from spouse account? No. I am 65, spouse past 5. No, it has to be on your own. Unless the only way you can get disability from another person's account, record, work history, is if they are disabled widow's benefits, and that's from 50 to 60 years old. So, yeah, but in your case, no. So since you're 65, if you've been receiving disability for a while, you probably had Medicare and stuff. And depending on your state, most states, in terms of Medicare, they won't let you get a Medicare supplement plan, a G or an N. And if they do, they're crazy expensive. But now that you're 65, what a lot of people don't realize is that once you hit 65, even if you've been receiving Medicare for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years based on a disability, now that you're 65, you're in the golden window where you can get a Medicare supplement plan and there's no health underwriting or questions or anything like that. So, and you don't get charged an outrageous amount because you're on, disability. You get charged what everybody else would be charged. So if you want help kicking around a Medicare supplement, those are the ones without the networks. You don't have to jump through hoops and ask the insurance company. Doctor has to ask, hey, I want to, this person needs this. Can I do it? With Medicare supplements, if the doctor says it and Medicare covers it, then insurance company has no say whatsoever. So if you want to check out Medicare supplement plans in your area, give us a call there. Give us a call. Just leave me your name, phone number, the state, because they're all state specific, and what you're looking for. You're looking for Medicare supplement, an Advantage, burial insurance, whatever the case may be. And then we can find someone in your area to treat you right. I was approved quickly for ESRD. Yeah, end-stage renal disease. Yes, those are approved quickly as well because, you're in dialysis. So, yeah, meant my husband dies. Will I receive his Social Security payout he receives at 70, which is very high, or will be lower? Yeah, so, yep, the 70 amount. Again, as a survivor, yes. All right, Richard. I will be 66 next month. I returned to teaching last school year and plan on teaching next year. The state retirement system doesn't take out FICA. I will not take their pension. Will that affect me? Yeah, it really depends on how that works. If, yeah, there's so many variables there. There's also You've got some people that work under those non-covered pension type places, but what they receive is they take out um, their own money when they retire, and they don't take out the employer contributions, and therefore that exempts that non-covered pension. And or they have 30 years of coverage, substantial, called years of coverage, in FICA. So if you paid, 28, 29, 30 years, then doesn't matter how much you receive from a non-covered pension, it's not offset whatsoever because you did pay into, you did pay into FICA. Is Medicare better than Obamacare? Better? No, I mean, if you're, they're both run by, private insurance companies. So when you sign up for Obamacare, then Obamacare is kind of the system, the marketplace system, where they can't, discriminate you because of, pre-existing conditions. And there's subsidies. They're basically advanced tax credits. And then you have cost sharing and stuff, but they're run through private companies. And Medicare is, the government one. But, Medicare Part A and Part B, Part A is free for most people. Part B, covers your doctors, and there's a lot of gaps there. So that's why people also add on a Medicare plan, either a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage. I personally recommend Medicare supplements if your monthly budget allows it. But yeah, if you can get a Medicare plan with a Medicare supplement, a G or an N, over the next few days, I'm going to do a video on the differences between G and N. So, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. The whole healthcare system in America is it's just way too complicated. Social Security is way too complicated. If it was easy, I could go back into retirement and but here I am. So. And wow, Dr. Weir, thank you so much for creating this channel for us. You're welcome. You're welcome. Overjoyed, regular here, back again. Hey, what's up? I feel like an idiot for not waiting 6 months until divorcing my second husband. 9.5 years and married before 6. Yeah. Again, that's why. Please press like, everybody. And people out there, they got married and was thinking about getting divorced, and I'll go ahead and do it this year. And sure. Who cares if it's 9 months or 9 years and 11 months? But if they watch Overjoyed's video there, they will know, okay, I'm just going to persevere with this jerk for another month so I can get money later. So I added the jerk part. Susan, okay. I'm 66 in 6 months, just filed for my benefits. Social Security rep told me I can't start getting spousal benefits until my husband files for spouse Social Security. He is going to wait till 70. Do I have to wait for spousal? Okay, if you're currently married to him, correct. Yeah, you put spouse, not ex-spouse. So yes, you have to wait until he actually pulls the trigger and files for benefits on his own record. But if it's an ex-spouse, you do not. Let's see, Overjoyed. I didn't know about Social Security marriage rules in my late 40s. It pays to look into these things earlier in life. Exactly. There's a lot of things people need to look at earlier in life. I've seen it, talking to hundreds of thousands of people. And, the common lament is, I wish somebody told me that last year. I wish somebody told me that before I filed. I wish that somebody told me that 20, 30, 40 years ago. But the 40 or 50 years ago wouldn't matter because, y'all were young too. So when you're in your 20s and 30s, people, nobody can tell you anything. So that's why I'm doing this FICA thing tomorrow is, what is FICA? So I'm trying to reach out to the young people and, try to prepare. Can survivor benefits be drawn while working? Yes, if you are, again, the earnings limit. As long as you stay under that limit. Even if you go over that limit, you have to understand that they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. So it's not like, if you go over the $22,320, they're going to put you in jail, they're the old Marine Corps, go to the break, they're not going to do that. You're just going to have an overpayment. So if you're like, okay, yeah, I want to continue my benefits, I don't want to start and stop, so I'm going to be a couple $3,000 over, and next year I'll get the overpayment letter and I'll just go ahead and pay it, and whatever. So yeah, can a survivor benefits? Okay, well, that was this question I just asked. Sharon, until I stop working, I can't file for disability, but have to have insurance for cancer treatment. Okay, you're working. Okay, yeah. But how much? If you're making under about 1,500 or so, 1,550, I think this year, the substantial gainful activity. If you're under that, you can file for disability. You don't have to completely work. So if you're working full time and now you're just working, part time because of your disability, then you can file. Catherine, I'm 60 now on SSDI. So how long will I have to wait to get my husband's benefits? He passed last year. Yeah, so I would call up immediately, if not sooner, because you're 60, you're entitled to benefits on his record as a surviving spouse. But it really depends on the money part and how much you're receiving from disability and how much his survivor benefits are. And then there's the reduction. And yeah, nobody can give you those numbers except for Social Security. So I would call up and check the numbers. And you don't have to file, but you kind of do have to schedule an appointment to file, unless you want to just go down to the office and wait for hours and hours and there's a walk-in. But if you call up and, Social Security offices, 99.9% of offices throughout the country don't schedule you an appointment unless you're actually filing for something. So you call up and say, yeah, I want to file for survivor benefits. And then they'll set you up an appointment to talk to someone who does that. If you just go into the office, you're just going to talk to someone in the front windows that might not be a specialist in that. So you have them take your claim, and that way the definitive numbers, and they'll tell you, okay, based on his record and yours and yada, 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 here's how much you're going to get. And so you just make the decision at that time. Oh, okay, that's less, never mind. So you don't have, they're not going to force you to file. So you just get the numbers, and if you say, oh, okay, well, that makes no sense, I'm not going to do it. And they said, cool. So the Social Security employee will probably be very, very happy. You're not wasting anybody's time. You're probably actually giving them, 5 or 10 minutes of their day back to them. So they'll be happy. Does FERS reduce your Social Security retirement? No. Does getting a VA indemnity as a spouse of vet reduce Social Security or FERS? I don't know about that in FERS, but Social Security, no, not at all. Not at all. Let's see. All right, got some kids here that are showing up. Let me block them. You cannot get spousal divorce benefits if you remarry. There are exceptions, so make sure you watch my video on that. There's an exception that most, even Social Security employees, don't know. But that's why I put the reference up there in that video. Again, the top 5 myths, spouse myths. So make sure you check out that video. And again, they're very, very precise exceptions to the rule. And so I put the policy up there, the policy reference up there. There's over 20,000 pages of Social Security policy. So I put the policy up there specifically. That way, if it applies to you, you go into the Social Security office and immediately they'll say, no, you can't do that. And then you show them the policy and they'll look at it with a confused look in their face, and then they'll disappear for a while and come back 10 or 15 minutes after they talk to the technical expert, and they'll say, oh, where did you learn this? From Dr. I think. Karen, just want to say thank you. I had no idea I could draw at 60 on survivor benefits. What a gift. All right, look at that. By y'all pressing like, somebody yesterday, 2 weeks ago, whatever, pressed like, and that's why it showed up in Karen's feed, and she says, who is this dude with no hair? Who is this guy? And she started, and now she found money, possibly. Again, if the benefit amount is good. So yeah, so y'all did that. Thank you. All right, Susan. kind of confused from earlier question. All right, I have the tendency to do that. Sorry. You said husband shouldn't wait until 70 and a half to collect, but if he was very high wage earner getting max Social Security, seems if he passes before me, I get his high. Right, but the half part is the part that scares me, because that half is 6 months. And so you're missing those checks and there's no benefit increase for that 6 months. So 70, yeah, again, tax, IRS taxes and put you in a higher tax bracket. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about money from Social Security. Your money, your delayed retirement credits max at 70. So his benefit amount will not increase beyond 70 years old. So, and your survivor benefits will be what he receives at 70 years old. So again, the 6 months that's the only thing that kind of scared me there, that you're going to be losing money. What happens to survivor benefits if he collected at 62 and I waited until I'm 66 and 7 months? I assume I will only receive a portion of his reduced amount. Yes, that gets into what's called a widow's cap. That, yeah, that's a crazy calculation as well. But you're going to be collecting at 66. So yeah, so the best way to get the numbers is to, again, file a claim and Social Security will give you the definitive numbers, because that is a very, very crazy calculation. And there's a lot of people on YouTube and TikTok and stuff that try to explain it and they never do it correctly, because I am going to show you. This is how that's calculated. This is the worksheet for calculating this widow's cap. So you get all this, locate the sequence by type obtained in step 4. So it's a PIA versus the MBA, and you do sequence 1, the reduced widow's benefit, 82.5% of the death PIA or the deceased number holder's retirement benefits amount. And if that doesn't apply, you go to sequence 2, and then you give the one that's underlined. So it could be reduced benefit amount, or it could be the 82.5%. So I just want to show you that as super long story short. It is a crazy difficult calculation. So the only way you can really know for sure is if you file a claim, and Social Security will give you that definitive amount. So I wouldn't trust anybody else that tries to calculate it for you. Super long story short. Judy, does spousal or widow's benefits get COLA increases? Yes, absolutely. Everybody gets COLA increases. Disability, spouse, survivor, everybody. So, all right, we are at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Let's do 1 or 2 more questions, and they will call it a day. Let's see here. Let me do a one on TikTok here. If I stop working at 62 and a half and I don't collect from Social Security and collect at 65, how much would I collect? Yeah, go on to SSA.gov. But the benefit on the estimate on SSA.gov on your account is going to be different, because if you're 62 and a half or whatever, it will give you the benefit amount at your full retirement age, 67. But what it does, it assumes that you're going to continue working from 62, 63, 64, 65, 60, and earn about the same amount of money. So they're going to factor those into your benefit amount. But if you stop working, those 3, 4, 5 years are not going to be in there anymore. So that's going to bring everything down. So there's that. Donna, this will be the last question here. 65 in October, spouse passed and would have been 66 in October. I want to still work. When should I apply? Yeah, it depends how much you're making. If you're making over the $22,320, then I would wait until you stop making under that. Again, if you're $1,000 or $2,000 over and you understand that some of your money is going to be withheld, then you can collect benefits. Yeah, once you stop working or you reach your full retirement age, the year you reach your full retirement age, the annual earnings limit changes considerably. This year it's 59,000 and some change. So what people do is, if you turn 67 in October, and that year you can make by that time it'll be 60, 61, 62, 63,000. Some people collect it in January because they're not going to go over that amount. So yeah, it really depends on your work there. And it depends. The first year, I just did a video yesterday on this. Make sure you watch the video I did yesterday on SSA and working. I did I made another stab at graphic design, and I put one up there about the first year. You can make, if you're gonna, let's say you're gonna start your benefits in October. If you make $1 million up until October, doesn't matter. It only matters what you start when you start your benefits. So if you make $1 million up until September, but in October you only make $1,500, or you stay under $1,860, then you can start your benefits October, November, December, and you're good. But next year you have to stay under the annual limit. There is no monthly after that. It's only one time. All right, that'll be it for today, and I apologize. There's still questions there, but I'm running out of time. Got an appointment here. I will be back live tomorrow. Going to keep doing this until we answer everybody's question, which is going to be impossible. But thank you for everybody for liking and sharing and subscribing and all that kind of good stuff, and we'll